People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Now, the FA Cup was disappointing. The League Cup was disappointing. Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League was a step in the right direction, and we're finally back in Premier League action. Off the bat, how are we feeling about Bournemouth? How are we feeling about Arsenal in general? How are we feeling about Arsenal winning the Champions League? And all the Premier League people, how are we feeling about Mikel Arteta's contract, rumours of the Hale Enders, lewis-skelly, Wanyeri potentially leaving, etc., people. So, yeah, big up you lot, man. Hope the week's been great. Hope the weekend is great for you lot, regardless of football. And, yeah, let me know what you're saying. Pot joins, Karma, big up everyone, man. Big up you lot, man. Pot, BG, come on, my mods. When we get to 100K, I got... You know, Karma, you look like a lightweight. So 5 shots for you. Social joins your Congolese. So we got some Entaba for you. Pot, you got a nose pierce. So I don't know, man. You look like them dons that like wine and that. No, I'm joking, man. We got everything, man. It would be a mistake to sell the Hale Enders. Loans make sense as they're the future of Arsenal. I still believe Wanyeri's loan could have waited until the summer. I hear that. I think selfishly, for me with Wanyeri, one, I think you're a talent that the manager has to integrate. Obviously, Hale Enders, we want to see that coming from the academy. 2, selfishly, because it's not just him. It's lewis-skelly. It's Norgard. It's even Martinelli starts. You know, I look at you as, I feel sorry for you that you couldn't have gotten as much football as you could, but bodies in it. You can never have enough bodies, and it was predictable. The minute Wanyeri went out on loan, there was injuries. I said in August, he should have went on loan because I feel Wanyeri's at that point now where, rightly or wrongly, like nobody, and lewis-skelly to a degree, but a bit different based off last season. Rightly or wrongly, there is that we need to win all the time. Now, granted, we have dropped results. There's a case to be made for rotation. Other players ahead of other people in the pecking order, you know, haven't been amazing. But unfortunately, players play favourites. I thought Wanyeri's at that stage where the manager has to put an arm around him and like, I'm going to start. You're going to play 10 games, like off the bat. You're gonna get starts. You're gonna get more frequent minutes. We said in the summer it's easy to leave these boys out. Everything should be on the table. They should be integrated into they could have got more football this year. They could stay and be first teamers. Going out on loan because minimum they're both 50 mil a pop. If lewis-skelly and Wanyeri were to go out on loan, like let's say Wanyeri's been linked with Dortmund, Lewis been linked with Everton, they go there, they shell it down. 50 million can turn into 60, 70, etc. Pathways. The left back row has changed. Obviously, the Calafiori hasn't put a foot wrong generally this season. Hincapié as well. Midfield, rightly or wrongly, there's something that lewis-skelly doesn't have at this moment in time or ever that doesn't convince Mikel Arteta to give him opportunities, albeit even off the bench. And of opposite end of the scale, you could say the same with Norgard, really. And then where you look at Wanyeri, Max Dowman's bad news indirectly for you because he can play in the same sort of roles. He's younger. They weren't really the pressing need for him to be starting week in, week out, even though Max is we need to remember he's young and look after him, but you're one of the best attackers we've got in it. You're a tool now in the toolbox. But Max can play in every position. He can play in midfield, obviously out wide. Noni's coming as well. For me, I don't want them to go, but at the end of the day, that's what the academy is designed for, innit? As much as I want them to stay and be the prospect, you either grow into roles where you can be part of the first team, or you do what Smith Rowe, Balogun, and Nketiah, Joe Willock sold for profit. You know, people can't tell me that the academy is not doing its job. If it costs 2 to 3 million a year to run our academy in Hale End, and you sell Wanyeri for 50 odd million, you was to sell lewis-skelly for 50 odd million, just for this example, and I don't want them to sold, much less Max Dowman, because he's like the clearest of diamonds we have. If you sold him for 50 million, that's 150 million. Like, you've made 150 million, it costs 3 million to run it, so you can do the maths in it. And that's what our academy needs to generate. More players that can go off, have good careers. We're making 10, 15, 20, 50 million here and there. People that can be integrated. Max Dowman, Wanyeri, you two in particular. Wanyeri, lewis-skelly. Let's have it right. Under 18s in terms of being competitive and the quality hasn't been there for a long time at Arsenal. The 21's the same. The best two prospects to come through, obviously, park Max off for a sec. Actually, first team ready players, actually decent players. I think they should be integrated. And then obviously you've got Max. You look in the midfield, Kai's going to play in midfield before them two. Wanyeri, the only person I think Miles Lewis-Skelly, unfortunately, out of all the players that could play in midfield, Miles Lewis-Skelly, unfortunately, for whatever reason, is bottom of the list. If I'm honest, we know about his quality. What I mean by that is, it'd be fair to say Rice, Subamendi, Mikel Merino, Norgard, Kai Havertz, Odegaard, Eze, even Trossard in the 10. These are all options that are going to be explored before them. And it's easy to leave the young players out, especially when they've signed new deals. It's much harder to leave out seasoned pros, people that have been signed for X amount of millions, people that are on big wages. Not saying it's right, but you get where I'm going, man. Pot, Riley, appreciate you. Hyper, one love. Tomorrow's not up to the fans. The players must perform, raise the standards, and show us you want to be champions. Facts. There's nothing else you could say, bro. If you man are on it, be on it. And there's going to be twists and turns. We're going to drop points. But end of the day, I'm not happy. I can only speak for myself. Not happy with the performance in the League Cup, because there's no shame in like the last two cup games. Of course, the obvious. I want to win the cup. We're in the final. You want to win it. FA Cup, want to go as far as we could. We was a game away from Wembley, innit? But there's a way to lose. If we lost on a courageous thing, and you know what, and Southampton and City were better teams than us, which they were, you just have to hold your hands up and say fair play. But before I praise Southampton or City, which I did, I'm looking at my boys. You had regrets. Now, Sporting step in the right direction. It means nothing if you don't build up some momentum and continuity and all of these things. Momentum in life, let alone football, is the name of the game. But especially in this part of the season, you see teams in negative momentum and positives. Spurs are in a negative moment. Liverpool in a negative moment. There's a couple other exceptions on the opposite scale. Like United have turned their year around to a degree. Bournemouth are doing their thing. So, yeah, man, we know about Areola and Bournemouth collectively and individually. We lost to them last season. We know that we beat them in the return fixture, or the reverse fixture, the better way to say it, but it weren't easy. End of the day, man, every game's a cup final. And where you look at the table broadly, admittedly, I couldn't tell you what Bournemouth are playing for, but everyone's still playing for something. Like, if I just look at the league table, Bournemouth are probably in with a shout of getting some level of European football, be it Europa or Conference League, maybe even mathematically the Premier League. There's not a single thing that's been decided. Obviously, if we jump down to the end of the table, Wolves are gone. They're playing for pride. Burnley is out of your hands. Even if you win the next couple, well, to be fair, if you win the next 3 games, it flips on its head. So it's in your hands, but out of your hands type of thing. But I think everyone would say Burnley and Wolves, you're gone. I personally think I think Wolves are going to get something off West Ham. I'd love for West Ham to get their act together. And I want Tottenham Hotspur for obvious reasons to go down, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But generally, you could make a case of probably forcing it a bit. I'd say from 15th to 18th, maybe even, I think Palace are cool, but from 15th to 18th, someone could still go down. And mathematically, if things fall in another direction, Burnley could get out of there. But the general point is relegation, there's nothing decided. Bournemouth are 13th. And it's a weird one, yeah, because when you say certain, like if I just say Sunderland have had a good season, Newcastle have had a terrible season, Bournemouth have done well, then you start looking at things. Like, that's how I feel the sentiment about the clubs, right? But then you look at the league table, I sound like a bit of a hypocrite, because actually Sunderland were further up the table. There's been a bit of normalization. Obviously, if you offered Sunderland fans forgive me if I'm wrong, 2 derby wins against Newcastle and 11th place from the moment it was confirmed they're back in the Premier League, they would have had that. But everyone can see Newcastle season be shit. They're nowhere near the Champions League shouts, innit? But I'm saying Newcastle have had a poor year. Sunderland are doing well. There's a point that separates them. So it does leave food for thought. Then you start moving up the table. 7th to 10th isn't necessarily decided. And then obviously, because of boring anti-football Arsenal, which, boy, Slot, you know how shameless you are. I'm even seeing the Champions League official Twitter handle. They're praising throw-ins and whatnot. It's great, people. We can't get mad about that. But, we gave the Premier League another spot in the Champions League, right? And there could actually be 6 teams in it. Or am I chatting? Depending on what happens in the Europa League. Am I chatting? Who's still even in Europa from England? Tells you everything's just Arsenal mode. But you get the point. Relegation, nothing decided. 7th to 10th ain't really decided. Obviously, the Premier League trophy isn't decided. We've got a healthy points gap. Obviously, it could turn to 12 points before City kick a ball against Chelsea. That's what we want. At this moment in time, let's just talk about the points on the board. We've got 9 points, God forbid, but City not only win their game in hand, they beat us. It turns to 3. at some point you've got to go against history, a negative kind of history, which we've not got over the line in the last 3 years and counting before, and create a new era. At the same time, though, histories do show patterns in it. So nothing's been decided. Don't let Man United fans get away from it yet. There was a point where not only were they scheming on top 4 and third, they were scheming on second. But I think the only thing I could say, yeah, and the points ain't really nice. Definitely Arsenal and City will be playing Champions League football next season. I actually think United. Then you look at 4th to 5th, like the top 4 places, like Villa are still there, Liverpool are still in the mix, Chelsea are a point behind Liverpool. And if you're behind this Liverpool, the very fact that United are ahead of Liverpool and Chelsea are behind them, it tells everything. These lot said they was in a title shout. These lot spent 500 odd million quid off the back of their warning signs last year, and it's the worst defense ever. Aston Villa, they're having a bit of a wobble, 1 win in 5, kind of getting to what Emery does. Brentford, because not a single traditional top 4, top 6 club here, they couldn't lose their star manager in Thomas Frank at the time, and Mbuemo a star player, Visa a star player, Norgard their captain. You know, everyone, including myself, was talking about, oh, you know what, could Brentford go down? They're 7th. And again, going back to relating it, if you offered Brentford fans 7th place in April, they would have bit your hand off for it. But Brentford have an outside chance of Champions League football, and they're probably even kicking themselves with 3 draws and a win in their last 5. Because where would that put them? Naturally, I hope Aston Villa do it, and I hope Brentford do it. For me, I can't pick the top 5 though, man. Apart from the obvious, I do think Arsenal were there. Not to watch anything, but Arsenal were there. City, United, 4th and 5th, I can't predict it. I can't. You don't got any suggestions? Can you 100% say Villa are going to be there, Liverpool are going to be there, or Chelsea are going to be there? I hope Everton and Brentford. Listen, if you're Brentford, Everton, Fulham, I hope you lot, you know, do your thing against these 3 clubs. And naturally, I'd hope United get out of there, but I think they've just done enough, if I'm honest, man. So, yeah. The fact that Arsenal are even considering selling them to you before they get rid of Trossard and Martinelli is an effing embarrassment and a wind-up. Don't piss me off. So, again, we're selling talent we actually need. I'm with you, because for me, I don't think there's a need to force the issue. Like, I think they could have got more football. I think definitely Miles Lewis-Skelly, and I think Wanyeri, but I understand it. If Wanyeri wanted to go on a loan spot, I told you in August, I bet you by January he goes on loan. I'm more loan them out, bro. Go get your experience, develop away from Arsenal. I know it's not the same, but Saliba had about 3 years out on loan before he got his thing. Go and develop and do your thing. You come back, you're more ready, you're a bit more seasoned. Granted, you don't even know what the landscape would look like. I do think what shags them is they're both midfielders, and it does look a bit clouded. And for me, I do want another midfielder. We're linked with Tonali, Elliot Anderson, this one, that one. If we bring them in, you're further down the pecking order. But if I remove emotion, it's a difficult one. I think we could, Arsenal fans, yeah, I would say, firstly, like out of a 20-man squad, it'd be fair to say, like, there are some players we would consider unsellable, right? There are some we wouldn't want to sell under any circumstances. But we'd also say there's some play. Everybody's got a price, innit? Like Saka on his day, Saliba on his day, Rice on his day. If we're talking 100+ million, maybe more, it whets the appetite. But there is, quote unquote, some unsellables. Then there's some that, like, available for the right price. You could be moved on if we bring in better. It's not that we're forcing you out, but yeah, even me, I think there's too many steady eddies in our side, man. I think there's too much man that can play everywhere, and they're kind of calm, and I wouldn't have brought them into the club, but we're kind of at where we're at. Mikel Marino is one. Kai Havertz is another. Noni Madueke, I don't think you lot are bad. I actually think you lot are valued squad players. I actually trust you lot a lot more than certain players that are way more talented than you. But these players are blocking pathways. But you look at it, if we're talking bringing in money into this club, yeah, but this summer has to do what he's known for, innit? We know, tough negotiator, you get things done. You done brilliant from March of last year to the summer we had. Not only that, numerous new deals on big wages and improved contracts. Stay with me and bear that in mind. That was obviously done. That is obviously great. This summer, Kroenke's probably gone, you know what, 15 mil a year on Arteta and probably a new deal. I've spent peas for the last 4 years. I've heavily invested. We've not brought, from a business point of view, we've not really brought much into this club. And also the outgoings, specifically the wages. Saliba improved contract, Magalhaes improved contract, Saka improved contract, Rice in line for improved contract, Timber the same, couple of others kind of fit that dynamic. I could be wrong, but even a David Raya and a Trossard, like, they didn't improve their contracts in terms of length, but they got improved deals. That all filters into the outlay. I don't buy anything that suggests Arsenal are anywhere close to FFP and PSR and all of that, because they say you always know when we're getting to the summer because the journalists start peddling that one and indirectly saying there's a sell to buy, but by there's a need to sell to buy. But indirectly, then they also tell us in the build up before that that we're very cool financially, we're self-financing, all of that. So which one is it? If there is any austerity, it's internal pressures in it. And this is what brings me back to the point of this is probably what they want to see from. But all right, you got negotiations done. You showed you can pivot. All right, not terrible example, but Partey cut, Norgard immediately was linked with Howson and all of them guys and the fees. All right, you got Mascara for 13 mil. You know, the Sesko thing didn't work. It was a dragged out process with Gyökeres. You showed an ability to pivot. You've shown an ability to get multiple contracts done. But then when you look at the wages now, the wages and getting this under control, this is also a big carrot as to why Berta was brought in. Now, if we're talking about bringing in fees to this club, we all know, obviously, Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly, they're younger. You get where I'm going. They're more like they're going to get a higher transfer fee than all of the other names would let go. So it's up. So in terms of bringing in fees, let's just assume Miles Lewis-Skelly and Wanyeri, they're bringing in 50 mil. No one ain't paying 50 mil for Kai at this moment in time. Well, it's a poor example. They probably would. No one ain't going to be flushing with offers for 50 million of him, of Martinelli. Well, you get more offers for the Hale Enders, then the Martinellis, then the Trossards, then this one and that one. But then you flip it, the wages. Because you could get the 50 million and 100% profit, but Jesus needs to go. That's 100 odd million quid. 100 odd million. That's 200 odd thousand a week off the wage bill. Reece Nelson's on 100k. Fabio Vieira is still at this football club. And not only that, there's a couple of others. All the Trossard versus Martinelli would be interesting because Martinelli is younger and people might look at that longevity, but he's on big wages. Trossard's also on something handsome, significantly less than Martinelli. People might be flushed with offers for him. Even I don't know how we get rid of Jesus, because are they going to rip up his contract? Are we going to be able to get a fee? Because if I put myself in another team's shoes, it's not that I'm not going to be on Gabriel Jesus, but you can't get a look in. Evidently physically declined. In the summer, you're going to have a year left on your deal. So I'm going to have to give Arsenal some element of a transfer fee, and I'm going to have to pay you some decent wages. This is all assuming these guys want to leave. Some players we might want to sell. There might not be no offers. Some players we want to move on. But if we're talking about bringing in replacements, it might not happen. Some of these players just simply put might not want to cut. And as much as I could sit here and say there's about 5 players, there's some that more need to cut, and there's some that I think your days are getting numbered, bro. It's all fun and games saying sell 5 players. If we only bring in 2, we've got less numbers. And I don't need to tell or insult you Arsenal fans' intelligence as to why, even with an improved and bloated squad, we've been dealing with injuries from August up until now. We spoke about it yesterday, and we're going to have a bit of a game as well, people. Half of you, big up the 45 of you in here, smash the like button. Half of you, try and think of any footballers at Arsenal that haven't been injured. The other half, let's list some players that have had injuries. Calafiori, Nkapie, Gabriel, Saliba, Mascara, Mikel Merino, Timber, Benjamin White, Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, Eze, Odegaard, Saka, Dalman. I think even Wanyeri, when he was here, had the knock. I don't know for Miles Lewis-Skelly, to be fair, but who else is there? There's Norgard, if I haven't made that clear. Who else is there? Martinelli, Trossard have had knock. Gyökeres has had a knock. Jesus has had a knock. Noni, if I haven't made that clear. But Kyle, you get the point. The whole majority of everybody's been collapsed in it. So, boy, it's a mad one, man. It's a mad one. It's a mad one. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll get back into the tabs in just a moment. 3-1 says, boy, evening, DG. Tomorrow is a chance to put some serious pressure on City by going 12 points clear. You're right. Because I know Pep's come out with a fighting talk, but for me, I think we have to look internally, innit? Like, I do think people are a bit harsh on the club in relation to Sporting. I do think that, in that, obviously, I wanted to see a significantly better performance, all of that kind of jazz, but it was an improvement. And I do think if you wanted us to see Arsenal blisteringly good and, you know, based on the previous 2 games, I think you're very naive if you thought that was going to be the case in Sporting. Because even if you know, it's just a broad point, the league phase, Bayern was a great... Bayern Munich, when we beat them, that made me believe Bayern, side note, we're going to win the champs. But generally, we've been playing good in the champs. Remember the first leg against Leverkusen? In terms of the space afforded, that felt like a Premier League game, a game we've seen in the Premier League. I would also say Sporting's manager, what he's done in the 8 years of being a gaffer is great. Their home form is great. We are in a quarter-final, so everybody deserves to be here. Their league form is good. From a tactical point of view, the way they have overloads out wide, the way they go man for man, the way they kind of pack the middle, it was going to always be a chess match. But I would rather had that, because 3 losses, sounds a lot, is terrible, but it's not as, losing 2 and winning 1 is better than losing 3 on the spin. So go do your thing. If MLS and Wanyeri are sold, then Arteta best hope they are ESR 2.0, 3.0. Spurs aren't going down. We were supposed to be quad for that to happen. Arteta mashed up the future. Boy, I told you to calm down with that. I told you to calm down with that. I see Bear Pagan stop typing when subs only mode got turned on. I'm convinced Odegaard is faking injury. I disagree, man. Why? Why would he fake injury? I know he's not the flavor of the month, but why would you fake injury? What'd you get out of that? Spurs may not go down, but it'll be precarious from now until the end of the season. West Ham can beat Wolves and Sunderland can beat Spurs, which will put them in the relegation zone. Villa, Pool, Chelsea. Will Chelsea rise on Sunday? Boy, I don't know, man. Can you still get tickets outside the ground? Yeah, you can, but boy, I wouldn't advise that, man. Chelsea could help us out, but not expecting it. They need to help themselves out, my boy. Like, they need to help themselves out. Like, remember Chelsea fans said they were in a title shot when they beat us 1-1. Now you might not be getting Champions League. We have this norm of selling low, buying high. We need to get better at selling. That's why I'm happy about Burr, but there needs to be a better ethos because, I want some idiot thing. Like, I've become, like, let's put it like this. It wouldn't surprise me if Gabriel Jesus' contract is ripped up. And I'm not saying it's easy, yeah, but I genuinely believe if the same thing, like from Jesus signing for this football club and all the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that he's been on to this day, if that happened at some other clubs, they'll manage to get some fee or whatever. There's no need to sell Hale End considering their age and uptake. It makes no sense. Unless with money now. Because the way they're moving with Mars, lewis-skelly and Wanyeri, it's like when when your broski starts selling his PS4 or his PS5, it's looking like Portsmouth going into administration, like we need peace. Is it short-term gain for long-term pain? I don't know. But you're right, man. Got guys on 250 plus not contributing much, giving silly contracts, selling Hale End because of poor calls. When they say we are doing well financially, all that's really expected in competitive institutions where the money is counted is to break even. Send Jesus to Italy, he'll start bagging. He'll be up there for is it Squidettos, what they call the league, top goal scorer, whatever they call it there. Pichichi, no, that's La Liga. Sell Jesus, Trossard, Nelly, Kai, Kepa, Nelson, Vieira. Fair. Funny, all his favourites never want to leave, just want to get paid being bench. Players, his mentor profile stinks. It's fine. We got Hale End, Trossard, Jesus, Kepa, Fabio. Maybe Norgard should leave, but we knew Calla was injury prone. Had a tough qualifier. Plays him and he gets injured. This is poor management. Timber poor management. Norgard should have never been signed. He clearly don't rate him. He clearly doesn't rate Norgard. You clearly don't rate Norgard and you clearly don't rate Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield because of the lack of sub appearances to the point you'd rather run Rice and Zubi into the ground. Yeah, no one put a gun to unpopular opinion. I don't really care what these players get paid. I really don't care because no one put a gun to these lot's head. We all know football's a dirty game, but boy, so shout out to Reece Nelson. But I mean, come on, it's childish now. It has to, come on. You've been here for time and you've not pulled up any trees on. Like you was here when, bro, you made your debut on the Wenger. Technically, I might be capping. In fact, no, I'm not capping. Technically, Reece Nelson, you are our longest serving player. You've seen 3 managers, 4 if you want to force it and say caretaker Lombard. So yeah, Rob, appreciate you for being a member for 6 months and Karma for being a member for 11 months. Come on. Chelsea are in trouble. Karma got a long memory, you pagans, untreated blues, unwashed blues like dirty jeans. Damn, big up yourself, super so sick. What a name. Let's keep it real. Edu lined up a lot of sales that got declined by Mikel wanting players around. He wasn't even going to use Niles. Nelson, always Mikel stinky handover. Why sign Norgard when he doesn't trust him? Do we technically see the capabilities of these players before they sign? They've got to hold that. You got to hold that because for me, I didn't think Norgard was. I kind of thought Norgard would be in this position, but I thought definitely there would have been more sub appearances and more occasional starts. Like I thought you would have seen Norgard with Rice or Norgard with Zubamendi, and I'm not saying that should have been first choice. And unless I'm not gonna lie, even though I can cut Norgard some excuses because it is difficult to put your best foot forward when you've not had a run of games and that. Let's be real, no one ain't impressed with Norgard. He's done well at occasions, take nothing away from Norgard, admire your professionalism and all of that, but come on, man. You don't look like the Brentford Norgard. I don't know what happened. You don't look combative. You look overawed. It's just meaty, man. I for sure thought Norgard would have come off the bench much more. The only one out of the players that you thought would be on the peripheral that I think you're kind of playing in the games that I thought was Kepa. And that's a goalie, so it's all different. Bro, I remember Reece Nelson was playing fullback on the Wenger, bro. Like, come on, man. Come on, and I admire it, Reese, because no one put a gun to the club's head, but it is what it is in that regards, people. Should we see what's going on in the world of the internet? New alert. Arsenal v Bournemouth. Special request from Mikel. Weren't Bournemouth Arteta's first game as manager? I might be lying. Technically, I think it was Everton, but in actually officially coaching, I think it was Bournemouth. Good morning, Gooners. As we know, lunchtime kickoffs can sometimes be a bit low-key in terms of noise generated in the stadium. I'm sure you all agree this is not an option for Saturday. Mikel has Mikel has specially requested that as many people as much as possible are in the bowl before kickoff and to make as much noise as possible before, during, and after the game. Let's get those scarves out for the Angel. It's time for all of us to step up and drive the boys home. They need to drive us, bro. The fans will always be supporting. Please spread the word to all your members attending the game and on socials. Come on, you Gunners, as Maria used to say. Boy, fair play. I mean, we need the atmosphere. Should we see everything that's going on with Mikel? We're going to go over his press conference, but Mikel Arteta on managing the DNA of the club with young players coming through while fighting for trophies, which, to be fair, we do have to understand the better we get and the more we're trying to fight, the young player thing is dead. And I do feel, well, we're at with Lewis-Skelly and Wanyeri. We hope the club don't sell him, but unless you're on unless you're on these two's wavelength or Max Dowman, I think it's difficult for you to progress, especially with, we seem to buy a lot of midfielders and there's a lot of favourites. It's part of us. And I think at the end, what has to define this football club is to seek excellence, seek for the best, regardless if you're coming from abroad. If we can have players from Hale End, it's obviously much better because the identity is there. We grow with them. We know exactly what they're looking for and what they have and what they're looking for, but they have to earn it, and not just for a week or a month, for years like anybody else. It doesn't matter what department or what you have in the club. You have to sustain the performance. That has to be at the very highest level if we want to win, and sustainability be where we want to be. And I agree with that, Gaffer, but being devil's advocate, I don't feel like that blanket statement's afforded to everyone, because there's players significantly more experienced that have been fucking about for years, and also this season. The margins are shorter because we're doing something that is unprecedented. If I'm being very harsh, what have we done that's unprecedented? I'm not trying to rain on the campaign, but what are we doing that's unprecedented? Genuinely in the sense of learning, like what? Like, what are we doing? I genuinely want to know, like, what's unprecedented? It's a great word to use, and I think a lot of fans lap it up, and I'm not discrediting the Gaffer, but like, what are we trying? What are we doing that's unprecedented? Maybe, all right, cool. We got to April / end of March. We're still in with a shout in 4 competitions, but that's not unprecedented. We have players that play in competitions nobody else has done at that age, so I think the balance is there. True. Yeah, I can't disagree. Max Dowman, all these man show that. And then obviously what Wanyeri did against City last year, and also Miles Lewis-Skelly, particularly in the Champions League last year. Fair play. We're doing everything we can to accommodate that, especially because they deserve the opportunity, as it's the best thing. Nobody's here to give a gift, an opportunity to someone that doesn't deserve it. Everyone that has been in and around the first team is because they deserve to be there. Okay, fair play. On talk of extending his contract, no, there's no news on that. I think we'll have time to discuss that. Now the full focus is on what we have to do from here until the end of the season. I'm fully committed here. I'm really happy and I feel good. My family is good. I still have so much ambition and things to do in this football club. And for now, we're in a good place. Come on, Gaffer, man. Let's get this home, man. I'm fully committed here. I'm really happy. Oh, sorry. So it's the same thing. Yeah, tab police. I'll make sure I don't miss anything. This is for you guys. This is for you guys. We'll go over this again in case you've been living under a rock, people, as well. But Sammy Motbell did say yesterday that we are in talks with Mikel Arteta over a new deal, people. And it's started, but it's kind of been shelved until the end of the season. And at present, Wanyeri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Trossard, Martinelli could be linked with moves away. As we know, we're approaching the final year of Mikel Arteta's last contract. And it's also said, people, that we're looking at right back, that Minguesa guy who came through La Masia. We still want to sign a left winger, and we're open to signing a centre mid. And also this poured cold water and any hopes you got for signing, what's my man, Julian Alvarez. It said here, Kai Havertz or Gyökeres have to depart. Oscar Minguesa is my man's name that I was referring to. Anthony Gordon, Sandro Tonali, Livramento are still being linked with us. Ben White, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus on top of Wanyeri, and obviously Miles Lewis-Skelly could be the ones to go. Odegaard enters the final 2 years of his contract this summer, which could raise questions over the Norwegian's future. It'll be interesting to see in the next 2 years Kai Havertz and Odegaard, because They're favoured by the manager. Whatever we think about them, they're on big money. Pathways need to open up. The more Max Dowman progresses, and if Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly, were to show some real development, or other players come in and Eze becomes the star, you've got decisions to make, man. A squad is always evolving, and a couple of these boys, like the vast majority, have been together for a few years now. So yeah, Declan Rice has been involved in more Premier League goals against Bournemouth than any other opponent. He's got 5 goals and 2 assists. So in you we trust. Oh, did I do my FPL? What's the cutoff for FPL? What's the cutoff for FPL? What's the cutoff for FPL? Because that needs to get sorted. That needs to get sorted. Mikel Arteta on the availability of Saka, Odegaard, Timber, and Calafiori. Yes, there have been changes since yesterday. On if all 4 are available, I don't know. Some of them. On Eze, he's available. He has been ahead of schedule. My first conversation with him after he felt a niggle, he wanted to be available the next week. We knew that was impossible. But the recovery, the will that he's shown from day one to get back as quickly as possible, how he's pushed the medical staff and himself to be there tomorrow is just great to watch. On if Hincapié is still out, there'll be changes tomorrow. So Arteta ain't finna let us know anything. On if he had to pick up the players between the City and Southampton results. I think it's balanced. As I said the other day, it's better to observe first, to see the natural reaction, to see what we're made of, to see what the first instinct collectively and individually from the players. Then you can intervene based on that. But to be fair, they didn't need much because their reaction was top. As I said before, the understanding on why we lost those matches and how we're going to put it right. And I think it was a really good reaction against Sporting on the potential opportunity to go 12 points clear. The closer we get, the relevance and importance of the match increases, obviously. And tomorrow is a big day for us. The players know it. Our supporters know it. It's an early kickoff. So get up early, have an early breakfast, bring your lunch, bring your dinner, and let's all go together for it because it has to be a big day. Now, I agree with that. On if our pride is tested or reinforced in difficult moments. I think reinforced because that talks about your culture and the identity of this club and the team. And to define that, you have to go through different scenarios, different moments individually and collectively. I've always said that that's one of the proudest things that I have, not only with the people, but our supporters as well. They've always been with the team regardless of the situation. And that's great to see in football. I think that attitude and that behavior and that unity gives you more will to win for them. That possibility, the opportunity to make so many people proud and happy increases. And that's what's driven everyone. Me, first of all, then all the players and the people in the organization. We've gone over his new contract, on how much belief he has that our players can win the league and the champs. A lot, because I see them every single day. And first of all, the capacity that we have as a club and as a team, the will to win. We recognize the opportunity ahead. We're going to do our best to try and achieve it. Do we agree or disagree with what the gaffer has said so far before we progress, guys and girls? More and more summaries. Arteta is like Chat GPT these days. Less performance on the pitch, but so many summaries in the media where the young thing's not dead, but it's going to get phased out. Like, bro, I don't think it's dead in the sense that I don't think you're going to see us rely on people how we have with Smith Rowe and Saka, and even to a degree when Nelson and Ketty were getting opportunities. But there's going to be less of an emphasis. It can never be dead. We need to find that balance. When you're of the Wanyeris, the Max Dowmans, the Miles Lewis-Skellys, for me, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable not for them not to be integrated. This season, it's more of, I think they all could have, well, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Wanyeri, they could have featured more prominently. Them man are the future of this football club. It's as simple as that, man. We've gone over this as well, people. We literally just covered that. On if the period of time to prove that younger players can become a part of our team is becoming shorter. Oh, that's the unprecedented crap we went over. On the pride of coming up against Areola, who is from a similar part of Spain. Yes, it's amazing what he's done together with the club, the consistency they've shown, the manner that they've done it, and the amount of players they've sold. Bro, Areola, Bournemouth's whole ethos, bad boys. They've got great players. Krupke and Alex Scott, they'd be the first two that I would take from Bournemouth. But they've got decent little players, man, like James Hill. The list goes on, innit? Like, every Bournemouth player is cold. The manner that they've done it and the amount of players they've sold, how they've then reinvented themselves. Well, we should have bought Semenyo from them. And then the run that they're on is incredible because we know out of the Premier League, when it comes to pride, it's huge. When it comes to rivalry on a match day, it's even bigger. It goes out the window. And, I mean, does 12:30 kickoffs make you a bit nervous? I don't know, but I think for every game we have to be there. We know the meaning of every match here and the opportunity that we have, especially when we play at home. We need to maximize every result. It's about each individual and how we turn up. I agree with that, especially with us during to the conclusion of the Prem. Bro, don't really matter if it's home or away. You could be playing in Somalia, bro. You still need to get 3 points for us in the Premier League home games. Because I must admit, maybe it's probably changed this season. But definitely last season, the season before, it was the home games made me nervous. In fact, I think as an Arsenal fan, for me, it fluctuates. There's times I feel we're a bit, to be fair, not so much in the last 2 years. Maybe even this season, there's been more stupidness away from home. But I feel like sometimes I'm nervous when we play at the Emirates. I feel that the games are a bit dramatic, and away from home, we handle business. Sometimes I think away from home, sometimes I think we're strong at home, and then we're a bit booky away from home. It's a weird one, man. I do think it kind of fluctuates for us people. We need to maximize every result. It's about each individual and how we turn up. Miles Lewis-Skelly's on the Passion Merchant team. Play him. It's actually impacting the game, the atmosphere, and the energy in the stadium. Whoever comes tomorrow, I ask them to be with that mindset, energy, and commitment, because the team is going to respond beautifully to that. On the benefit of most of our remaining games in London, is there a benefit apart from travel? We need to exploit that and use the advantage. We've traveled so much during the last 9 months, and now it's not going to be that much. We have 2 clean weeks in between now and the final game of the season. So that's very positive. Let's use it. On what he's grown to understand more about Eze lately. Great question. So one of them, I didn't know that he was so determined, so obsessed, and so willing to push his body. I didn't know that part of him, and it really surprised me in a really powerful way, how much he loves the game. When you take somebody's opportunity to play, you see their reaction. His was, wow, how involved he was in and around the team, the energy he brings every day in the building. And then we use that time as well, obviously, to identify areas where he can impact the game, get his opinion wide and open about where he sees himself, where he's more comfortable, what he sees about the team. And I think we use that in a really good way. Side note, but I'm just thinking about if Arsenal signed Semenyo, man. I'm just glad Eze was in training. Eze in form, will have Odegaard on the bench. I need everyone. I need everybody fit and everyone in great form. I need everyone to stay fit. I need everyone to just get the job done. Everybody's in my mentality this season has been, regardless of my personal opinion, every player is a tool in that toolbox, with the exception of a few. I don't think the level of consistency collectively from you lot individually, and it paints the picture when we look at you collectively, is what I require. So you're all tools. I accept you for what they are. I accept Kai in particular, Marino in particular, Odegaard in particular, like these kind of Martinelli and Trossard 100%. There's very few, and I don't mean this in a negative way, it's reality. There's very few players that I would say have 100% of my faith in this Arsenal team. Saka does. I know his form's been shit, but Saka does. Raya does. Saliba does. Gabriel does. Jurien Timber does. Declan Rice does. The rest, I'm not sure. So that's the A bracket. B bracket, I don't know if I said Timber, but dash Timber into that. The next bracket in terms of my trust, I can't lie. Marino, Bandulu brother, you're there. Gyökeres, Bandulu brother, you're there. Kai, because when I just accept that when I just accept Kai for what he is, I think you've shown me more consistency than certain other man. Max Dowman, boost him up into the thingy. Miles Lewis-Skelly, boost him up. My young G, you get where I'm going in it. You get where I'm going. You get where I'm going, man. I see Arteta actively in training, controlling things. Would that make players take games less seriously, subconsciously? No. In my opinion, if Arteta doesn't win the Prem, he should walk away voluntarily. If he wins it, he should only stay if the playing style changes. This slow, methodical, boring football is unsustainable. Bro, you just named his favourites. These old guard players get in the way. Nah, I'm talking about myself. Because I don't think Marino is anything to scream and shout about. I know you're on, when it's time to do this thing and be clutch, Marino, you're on it. Kai, you're somewhat on it. They shouldn't be at the club, but you're on it. Ben White, we ran you into the ground. I think I can believe in you in some degree. Zubi, I like you. I don't really trust you in them typical Premier League end-to-end kind of games. But when it's a chess match, which is 9 times out of 10 football, you're there. Who else is there? And that's about it. But when I look through the squad, boy, there's very few players. And I know form fluctuates. Eze, I trust you as well. From August to now, the level of consistency, it needs to... I don't know about fitness. Mentally, some of these players aren't playing their natural game. They're going to have to be big men and women now, man. They're going to have to stand up to be counted. I do need to update my FPL, man. Yo, DG, FPL before finishing the press waffle. All right, we'll get back in that. When does it finish? When's the deadline? It's got to be now, innit? God, don't let me get zanged. Don't let me always get zanged. Please. Not me, someone else. Did I make it? Okay, sign in. I might have made it. Have I? Smash the like button, man. Oh, you lot try help, man, as well. Big up you lot. You lot try help, man. You lot try help, man. I don't care about FP anyways. Shit anyways, man. Don't care about none of that. I definitely care. I care so much. I care so much. I care so much. I care bare. That's on the attacking side, but there are other areas as well that obviously didn't feel that were that important, or things that we discussed that probably in other teams he hasn't discussed as that vital and important change to games or to win football matches that he recognizes now. He's such an intelligent guy. It's so easy to talk to him. On if sometimes he decides first who can come off the bench or to impact the game. There are games that is, yes, not only for impact as well, for some physical restrictions that we can have, or to find some freshness or the type the opposition plays as well, and how we can adapt to what they do or we can hurt them. That's a big part when we have the players that we have. When we have players available, obviously, to do that, it's a big advantage. On what makes Martinelli so effective in the role as a finisher, the game state, man. Like, it's the game state. Man are tired. It's more about moments. When you start games, you have to think. Well, and big up Nelly, man. Like, Nelly, you're shit, but I like you. You don't know. I can't lie, man. We've all got them. Like, Martinelli, you're dead food, but you're my guy. I'm here. I'm with you to the end. I'm with you to the end. And whatever man say about Martinelli, the last 3 years, who's done the slappings in the clutch moments, who scored in the big games, sell Tross up before the Tross up, big yourself up. But hey, man, we all got favourites. Martinelli, I'm on keeping you before Tross up. I don't want to sell both, if I'm honest. Do not get it twisted. I bet left winger needs to forward. Berta, please. Not that you watch my streams. Please. First of all, his mentality, and Gabby is a winner. Gabby is someone that it doesn't matter what you're doing out there. He wants to be the best. When he starts, great. When he doesn't, he's still the same specimen and wants to win games. He'll do anything to win. That's what I love about him. I love it. And big him up, pushing refs and that. Big up Conor Bradley. You know, hopefully you get fit, but come off the pitch, read by rolling back on. Martinelli's on what I need you to be on. Apart from the things I need you to be on. On if bro, we've gone over that. On if he could last as long as Arsene Wenger. No, that's gone. On Marino, what's he said about Marino? He's another one that is going to push every boundary. He's out of his boot now. He's doing quite a lot of exercise already. He's reacted really well to surgery. He's got no pain. It's more for the medical staff to go a bit further on that. But I'm sure there's a chance to make that period shorter. If there's one person who can do it, I'm sure it's going to be Mikel again. Obviously, big up Aaron Ramsey for announcing his retirement. On not trying to concede set-piece goals to Bournemouth like we did last season. Pardon me. We need to learn that lesson, certainly, and away from home as well. We conceded a set-piece goal the year before as well. So it's an area where they're really strong. Well, they cornered the corner boys. And we certainly have to improve to create the margin and the game context that we want. So we're going to have to be really good at that. Don't think anyone can disagree. So, yeah, we've went over that. He ain't said nothing on Saka, really, did he? So we can close that. Tab Police, you're not proud. Look. Tab Police, man. It's all mad. What's Pep said? He's revealed how many wins City need in a title running. Pep, who loves a mind game. What has he specifically said? We have to win every single game. Hopefully, we can get a lot of points. The situation we're in the Premier League, we need to get them all. Otherwise, it will not give us the chance to try to the end. We need to get a lot of points. We have not been consistent enough this season. We have dropped points that we should have taken, which is why we're in a position where we cannot do differently. Fair play. Fair enough. Paul Merson has said, I personally think the Premier League title race will be over this weekend. I'm backing Arsenal to win, which means they go 12 points clear of City. I don't believe City will beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Sunday. They're going to wipe the floor with Chelsea. I'm predicting a comfortable win for Mikel Arteta's team. Arsenal will be relieved that they have at least one trophy in the bag after this weekend. Paul Merson, I love you. But is this the logic or is this the heart talking? I don't know. I'm on this guy, Arteta literally throws trophies away because he wants bigger fish to fry. I got a lot of time for Arteta, but you do piss me off. I don't think you're terrible. I actually think there's more pluses than cons. But in the day and age where we've been so good, but we're not getting over the line, the cons are all I'm focused on. As I always say, if we want to get to a realm we haven't been, all of us have to be something that we haven't been. And I think the players, and also the manager, we shoot ourselves in the foot. I don't want to keep saying this year in, year out. So, brother, it's time to get over the line, fam. And you know what's fucked, yeah? Obviously, you're seeing today with Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly, even yesterday, and frequently really moves away, yeah? A year ago, not exactly a year ago, the 31st of March, 2025, Arteta, Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly are doing something exceptional, like going from karting to Formula One in one day. They didn't have any loan spells, any experience in the championship. From the academy to Arsenal first team football, that's very rare, exceptional. A year's a long time, man. Look at Man United, on course to get Champions League football after fighting relegation. Look at what this example of what them man did and then the year they had and where they are now. Look at Liverpool last year and this year. The only consistent team has been Spurs. They've been consistently crap. They got a trophy to paper over it, and hopefully they're going on this year. But it's mad. And as you know, we're expected to listen to offers for both of them. Sources indicate the Gunners would look to receive a combined 100 million for the pair, and their sales would account for pure profit. It don't have to go this way. We're still being linked with Morgan Rogers. I think for what it's worth, Chelsea are the more likely to get him. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen you play left wing, seen you play right wing, can play in the midfield three. I like Nico Williams. I don't know if we're gonna get him. I like Rafael. I like half the guys we're linked with, but none of Gordon. Half of them don't 100% convince me. So I'd rather put the P's down for Morgan Rogers. They're going to ask for 80, 90, 100 million. They're going to sell several players if PSR is an issue way before they get at Morgan Rogers. I'm sure he's contracted until 2031. So that's a 5-year deal. Might be paper-led. But for what it's worth, Chelsea and Arsenal are set to battle with Man United to win over Morgan Rogers, people. Well, in fact, this says he signed a 6-year deal, and it doesn't have a release clause. So it is what it is. Arsenal and Chelsea are expected to renew their interest in Rodgers this summer, although they'll also face competition from Man United. We know he can play a lot of roles, 80 million and rising, because he could play a key part in however England perform at the World Cup. Arsenal, meanwhile, may look to bolster their forward options with the likes of Trossard and Italy struggling for form. Obviously, the Hale End boys have been linked. Aston Villa are expected to be open to a sell. The Times add as they look to avoid a PSR breach. And they've also agreed a 20% sell-on clause. So Middlesbrough owed peas from this. So that makes it even more techie, man. Makes it even more techie. But Emre put a good word in. Ben Jacobs is saying Dortmund are still looking at Ethan Nwaneri. I make Calafiori right here. I don't think about it too much. I just know they love to speak about us. It's obvious that it's a massive club with so much history that they love to speak about us, but it doesn't change anything for me. Big him up. Arsenal have been heavily linked with Julian Alvarez, and while their interest is genuine, it's understood either Gyökeres or Kai Havertz would need to leave for Arsenal to step up their interest. So pack that one in the bag. We are being linked with a trio of Newcastle players once again: Tonali, Gordon, and obviously Livramento. I really want this Alvarez. So many times I really want this to come through. We've gone over Morgan Rogers. We've gone over Mikel Merino. What's this? Arsenal ready to back Arteta with 280 million euros triple deal. Really? Really? I don't care about City. If we handle our business, this league is in the bag. You can have Gakpo. We already got frustrating players. We just need 16 points from the last 7 games and we'll be champions. Arteta always goes on about how important the fan spirit is. Surely he knows the impact the sale of them two would have. That's my only hope. Yeah, but unfortunately, whether I like it, and I'm with you lot, and I'll be pissed off if the Hale End boys go. We'll have to get on with it, bro. Like, a year from now, if we assume they go in the summer and a year from now, where like everything that we're talking about and been on, we're trying to fight for a league title. No one ain't gonna really be speaking about them. For me, I think if they're sold, we riot. Apparently, we're looking at Carrot Skeeler, Mark Casado, and Tino Livramento. I would love Carrot Skeeler, but bro, you ain't got peace for that. You ain't got peace for that. You ain't got peace for that. So what are we doing? So we're just gonna move on. What's this? Arsenal and City are reportedly ready to rival Arsenal in the race to sign Leverkusen striker Kofane. His agent spoke 7 goals in 40 games. Don't think he's probably a player we like and we're monitoring. But we're going to bring in less players. There's probably going to be an emphasis to move people on, and there's no guarantee. I think we could do with another striker, but where's the priority? Central midfield, left wing, no. So this ain't nothing really, if I'm honest with you. But apparently we lead the race for him, and I'm not going to go over his agent's comments again, but his agent did previously speak. Tab Police, you lot always get on to me. Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. What's this? Oh, we've gone over Mikel Merino. Lord knows how much I miss you, man. Chelsea's on some BS. How can you not play Enzo against City? Foolishness. Nelly gets much space in the Champions League, hence the vast difference in performances. He would excel in Europe. Don't forget to sub. PSG, by the way, are wankers. How can Liga postpone league games for PSG to play Champions League with all the rest? And the PSG lots have chess. To be fair, you're going to take anything that you can get. We'll wrap up the league early because it's a World Cup. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. And it seems like PSG are slapping Monaco. Oh, that's on already. Get to 50 lads. 80 million for Gakpo. Shut up, man. Shut up. Man said 80 million for Gakpo. You're taking a piss. Man. 80 million for Cody Gakpo. Easily the most. Nah, if I was a Liverpool fan, would he be the most frustrating? No, Slot would. I think Frimpong shit. Gakpo, you need to shot that. He's not going to make it. Balogun scored. Big him up, man. Shout out to Hale End. But with that being said, man, We'll be back for a watch along tomorrow. We kick off at 12:30. So it's only right that we go live from 11:30. You lot, bring your boots, bring your shin pads, bring your dinners. We're going to need all of you lot for the watch along. Hope you lot have had a great week. Hope you lot have a fantastic weekend. Smash the like button. Check out the rest of the other vids. But for now, I'm going to let you lot all enjoy your Friday. One love. Hit the likes. The same for show and tell. If you don't hit the like, your mama